Hi, Bonnie Barker here, and we are starting video number 4. Can you believe it? Goes very quickly, faster than you would think for an Afghan pattern. This is what we should have at this point. We should have this panel of cabling, a panel of woven stitch, which I hope went rather well for you, and then another panel of the cables, which again is a repeat of the rows 2 through 17. Okay. This segment will cover what I call the Celtic Weave. This is a stitch that my daughter encouraged me to develop actually back in 2009. First appeared in my leaflet Air Afghans, which is published by Leisure Arts. And this row, or this section, will be 24 rows long. This will be covering in the pattern rows 48 through 71. This is sometimes the stitch that gets people tripped up a little bit. So I'm going to try to go slowly and carefully so that you understand this. Notice from my little stash of yarn here, we're going to be starting on, I'm going to be starting on my 4th scan. You might be using different yarn, so it may not be necessarily your 4th, but anyway, ready to start scan number 4. Let's crochet. I'm back. I wanted to show you a closer view of what you should have. Okay, as I said before, now this is redundant, but I just wanted to go over it. You have the series of cables, 13 rows, plus the finishing row of the woven stitch. And then you have another series of, again, the row 2 through 17 cables. The cable rows, the low front ridges, arrow stitch, etc. By the time, as these videos progress, I am going to go a bit faster, so if you need to pace yourself, feel free to, take a couple extra weeks if you need on each video, and they will all be posted for you to peruse at your leisure. So don't feel compelled that you have to go according to the schedule in which the videos are being posted, but they are there to serve you and to get you through this project. All right, well, let's begin the Celtic Weave. Okay, to begin the Celtic Weave, let me just first state that we are working with the front side of our stitches facing. Okay, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip the first stitch, and we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, this is just kind of a border for the stitch. We haven't really begun the stitch yet. Okay, here we go. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches. And in the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a front post treble crochet. And we simply do that by going around the base of the stitch. And yes, you can do this with a single crochet. It's really not hard at all. And then we do the next one. Okay, so we do 2. We skip 2 stitches. Okay. And then we're going to do 2 front post trebles. Now we're going to go back and we're going to do front post trebles over the 2 single crochets that we just skipped, like so. I'm going to go in the front door, out the side, as you would for a front post. And let's do the second one. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just going around the stitch instead of going in through the top. If you are totally unfamiliar with front post stitches, I do have a couple videos that are just on that alone. If you wanted to review those before jumping into the stitch, I'll go a little slower this time. I'm getting ready for my treble. I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and instead of going in the front, see, you would go in the top loops if you're going to normally crochet in the stitch. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go and give this little stitch, even as small as it is, we're going to give it a belt. We're going to go, let me show that again, just for those of you who've never done this. You go in from one side of the stitch in the front door and come out the side door. You're going all the way around. Let me show you my hook, how it's wrapped completely around the stitch. And we do a treble crochet. Just complete your treble the way you normally would. Let's do that again. And the next one, go in the side door, come out the side. Okay, now I'm going to go and do a treble crochet around the 2 stitches that I just skipped. 1, 2. Now I'm going to do this all the way across the row. See how, let me just show you, you're making like these crosses. This is the beginning of the Celtic weave. Okay, I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to treble around the next 2. Okay, now we're going to go back, and we're going to do the 2 that we skipped. Okay, I'm going to do this all the way across the row, and then after I complete the row, I will show you how I end the row. I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to work one more of the Celtic weave stitches just to show you. I'm going to skip 2, just like I've been doing all the way across. Front post treble, the next stitch, and the next stitch. Okay, now I'm going to front post treble, and the 2 skipped stitches just like so. Okay, now I'm going to double crochet in the last 2 stitches. Now the pattern does say crochet in the last stitch, and then in the turning chain, that should be in the last, should say in the last 2 stitches. If you are one stitch short and you need to use the turning chain, this would be fine to do that now. Totally here all the way across, you should have 42 crosses. That's sets of 4 stitches that cross like this. You should have 42 of those all the way across the row. Now after these last 2 double crochets at the end of the row, we're going to chain. I'm going to chain 3. The pattern says to chain 2. That should be chain 3. And then I'm going to skip the first double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet in the second double crochet. Doing it this way just helps to keep the row ends nice and neat for us. Okay, now we're going to begin row 49, which is the wrong side facing. This, I dare say, will be the most difficult row that you probably do in this whole Afghan process. So I'll try to stay with me here. We're going to be using our fingers as much as we use our eyes in order to find where to put these stitches, because we're going to be working with the front side forward. I'm sorry, with the front side facing away from us. Okay, the first 2 stitches are right here. We're going to work back post treble crochets over these first 2 stitches. Well, actually, the first 2 of the Celtic weave stitches of the row. Okay. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to back post around the next 2 stitches. So we skip these 2, and these are the stitches that are kind of leaning towards you. We'll do back post treble in those 2 stitches. Okay, if we flip it around, it looks kind of like that. This is the hard part, which is not really so hard once you understand it. Now these 2 stitches that we skipped, we're going to back post treble around them. So we wrap our hook. Now getting a hook around might be a little tricky. Use your fingers to kind of guide you around those stitches. Now these stitches are also easy to skip if you lose track of where you are. Okay, now we do the second stitch the same way. I'm going to flip this around upside down so that you see what we're doing is we're kind of grabbing on to the stitches that were underneath. Okay, let's do that again. Okay. We're going to skip 2, treble crochet around the next 2. Okay, now we're going to do these 2 that we skipped. Okay, let your fingers help you there. Come around this stitch. Okay, wrap it again. Again, skip the next two. And we're going to treble post, back post, treble crochet around the next two. Don't forget the two that we just skipped. Again, if you're going to make an error on this row, it's going to be skipping the two, is forgetting to do the two back posts that you skipped initially. Okay, so let me turn this around so you see what's going on. Okay, this is what it looks like from the front side. Again, we're working the opposite side right now, but if it's looking something like this, you're doing well. Now the first two treble crochets that we did, that were just, we didn't skip anything, we just did the first two treble crochets of the Celtic Weave. Let me show you what's going to happen real quick. Now this is connecting to these two bars. Now as you go along, these are actually going to curve around and come back, you know, into the weave. And that way, by doing those first, this just helps them to do that, to curve around. And then as I do the next row, these will be crocheted over, and then these two stitches that are hidden below here are going to actually be on top of that. Don't need to know that right now, but just follow this all the way across. I'll do two more. We skip these two and treble around the next two. Now we go back and we do the two that we have skipped. Get that. Again, use your fingers to guide the hook. Oops, let me try that one again. Helps to have some yarn. This is not for absolute beginners, but if you're a confident beginner and you've done a little bit of back post, front post work, this shouldn't be a problem. It's just a slight learning curve. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and then I will come back to you. Now I've come all the way to the last couple of stitches. I'll go ahead and do these again. I'm going to skip these two, and I'm going to treble crochet over the next two. Oops, let's try that again. Okay, now I'm going to go and do these two again that were skipped, and my thumb comes in handy, or my tall man finger comes in handy, and my thumb to help me find these stitches. One, and then that's the other one, two. Now there are two stitches left of the Celtic Weave. We are simply going to go ahead and do trebles over them. This is how you're going to end each row of Celtic Weave with the back side facing you. Okay, now I have two stitches left. I'm going to double crochet in the double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet. I like to take two strands of the chain, but you know, do what you prefer to do, and double crochet in the top of that chain three. I'm going to chain three, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn my work around. Now we have the front side facing, and this will be beginning row 50. Okay, we are going to skip the first double crochet, and we are going to double crochet in the next double crochet. Now this should be where it gets easier for the Celtic Weave. I'm going to just do what we did on row 48, which is skip 2, but it's much easier to see because we're not working in single crochet, we're working in trebles now. Okay, we're going to skip the first 2, and we're going to treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, working in front of the last 2 stitches we just made. We're going to treble over the 2 that we just skipped. Okay, this again is row 50. And then we're going to just do that across the road. We're going to skip the two that are hiding, but you can see the tops. You're going to skip these two, and we're going to treble crochet around the two next stitches. 1, 2. Now working in front of these 2 stitches, we're going to get the 2 that are hiding, and we're going to treble crochet like so around these stitches, and we're going to do this all the way across. I'll do one more. I'm going to skip these 2 that are hiding, and we're going to do the 2 that are out and about, working our front post treble crochet. Now don't forget these 2 hiding. If you're going to skip stitches, these by accident, these are the stitches that are going to be left behind, and we don't want to have any stitches left behind, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I've already shown you how to end this row. It ends the same as row 48. So this is row 50. You're going to want to do this until you get to row 70, just repeating row 49 and 50. Okay? And when you end, you should have, when you end on row 70, you should have the, I believe it's the front side facing. Let me see. Yes, you will have the front side facing on that row. And then we will work row 71 when I come back. Okay, that was a big section to do. Now, I want to try to show you the rows that I've completed here. Okay, there should be 23 rows of the Celtic Weave stitch. And that would be, let's see, rows 48 through 70. Okay, I want to show you something else about this. You may notice that this is kind of, this lip, the last rows that I've worked is kind of curled over. Okay, I don't want you to be concerned about this, because I know some folks may see it, you know, not laying flat and just start to get a little worried. The row that we're going to work next is going to discontinue the Celtic Weave stitch. Before I do that, let me just show you the edging here. Just show you what this edge looks like. Here are the rows, the 2 double crochet, or the double crochet and chain 3 alternating rows. It gives it a nice little definition. You can see how the Celtic Weave stitches, you know, curling in and curving under the next row, and how it just continues on throughout. Okay, now let's go ahead and do row 71 to discontinue this section. I'm going to chain 3, and this is going to count as a double crochet inner stitch count. Also, as I reviewed the earlier piece that I recorded, I noticed I was saying treble crochet a lot. And please understand that I should have been saying front post treble crochet, but you could see what I was doing. I hope that didn't confuse anybody. If it did, I really apologize for that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and begin this row. I'm going to skip the first double crochet here, and I'm going to double crochet in the next. Double crochet, just like that. And now the pattern reads: back post double crochet around the post of each stitch across, and then turn. So this is going to be just straight back post double crochet. So I'm going to just do these straight across. You don't have to worry about crossing them or anything. And of course you do need to go through all the strands. There we go. This row in particular is going to take the curve out of what of this row. So if you ever have any concerns as you're working on this project, post it. You can email me at Bonnie Bay Crochet, or actually the email is bonniebay@me.com, and I can try to answer your question. If you're working on the crochet along and you just want to post it in the crochet along page on Facebook, make sure you tag me in that. I do get a lot of mail, and I want to be sure to answer everybody I get. Don't want to leave anybody in limbo or anything, but please tag me so that it does go directly to my email, and I will know that you have posted it. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing here? I am just working back post double crochets all the way across the row. Whoops. Easier said than done sometimes. Again, use your fingers. I find that I use my tall man and thumb a lot when doing post stitching and guiding where the hook goes. These stitches after a while are so easy you can actually do them in the dark without even having to see them because of the sense of touch. Let me go ahead and show you what it's going to look like from this other side. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like as you finish off the stitch. Let me finish going across the row and then I'll be back for the ending of the row. Here are the last 4 stitches of the Celtic weave and the last 2 stitches of the row. And we're doing back post double crochet. Let me make that clear too. We're not doing treble crochets here. We are doing back post double crochets. And the patterns that I write often will mix the two, so do be careful. It's not a typo if you have double crochet, back post doubles, and back post, front post trebles in the same pattern. Okay, now I'm going to do a double crochet going in through the top loops like you normally would. The last double crochet, and do the same with the chain, which serves as a double crochet in this instance. Okay, so that, I'll go ahead and turn it around for you. And you can see the finishing touch as we finish off that row. Okay, this ends video number 4. Stay tuned for video number 5 and we will continue. We are getting near the home stretch, guys, so hang in there. You are way past the halfway mark at this point. Got about a third the way to go. God bless. Bye-bye.